So the thing we're talking about today is why you want to upgrade all your interior lighting to LED on your RV. So I just got this Coachman travel trailer. It's a Catalina Santara, about a 27 footer. It's pretty light, only about 4,700 pounds. And I was going through it and noticed that it still had the regular old halogen lights. They've since been replaced with LEDs. You can see it's a much brighter light. But I'll give you an example of the difference in the lighting color. So that's a halogen style, and that on the left is an LED, and it gives off a different color. You can order LEDs in this color here or this color here, and I'll give you a link in the description to the ones that work great for me. It's a toss in the bucket which brand actually lasts, but the ones that I'll put in the link below I've had in my other Class C for over a year, and they're still working without any burning out. Alright, so I noticed all the overhead lights in the main area of the RV here are on one switch. And I noticed that the switch here, when all the lights were on, started to get very hot. This side here, which is what controls the interior lighting. This switch here is for the exterior lights. So I took it apart, and I noticed that on the back of the switch, it was actually burnt a little bit. You can see there's a lot of heat damage. And the switch itself is very hard to turn on and off now, because from the heat, it's expanded and pretty much ruined the switch. The reason why that is you have 2, 4, 6 halogen bulbs pulling a lot of amperage. And while these switches are rated to about, 16 amps, obviously it couldn't handle the amp draw from the halogen bulbs. So, if for no other reason alone, you could upgrade to LED to reduce the draw of the lights. And that kind of serves a couple of purposes. The first one is, obviously, once I replaced the bulbs with LEDs, they no longer got hot. The switch no longer got hot at all. In fact, it didn't heat up at all. It was too late though, so I need to replace the switch. With less amp draw equals much longer battery life. Now if you're plugged into shore power, it doesn't really matter. But if you're going to do any kind of boondocking, you want your battery or batteries to last as long as possible. By converting every light in the RV to LED, it uses just a fraction of what the halogen bulbs use. And the reason why they put the halogen bulbs in the RVs is because they're cheaper. It's all about cost. Some of the new ones are coming with LED lighting now, which is great. But for most of us, on anything that's a couple years older, you're going to be stuck with the halogen bulbs. And it's a very, very simple upgrade. So here's what the LED looks like in the housing. So to fix the switch, I went on Amazon, picked up a couple of these JR product switches. They're only a few dollars each, and they're a direct replacement for the RV switches here, even with the gold lettering. I'm just going to replace both of them since they both look dirty and worn, and we'll get some nice new switches on here. It's really just as easy as popping this cover plate off, taking the 2 screws out, which reveals this. Just unplug all the wires. You just compress the switch to pop it out of this housing. Snap the new one in. Make sure the on is facing up, and we'll screw everything back in. Alright, so now I get the new switches in. Make sure they work. Alright, now we can screw it back down and put the cover plate on. Alright, that was easy. But it does amaze me that it lasted this long and that it comes from the manufacturer this way. This RV is a few years old, and this has been hot the whole time these lights have been on. And that's how it was made. It's just another point to illustrate how cheap these RVs are truly made. And with just a few simple upgrades, you can make them much better.